Good afternoon. This is Atai Knighton, and I am at the Columbia Police Department, and I'm interviewing Sergeant Strohr.
Officer.
Officer.
That's okay.
Sorry, Officer Strohr. And she's going to answer a few questions for me today. And starting with the first question, it is: how is the mission of this organization communicated in various publics? How do you guys get the word out?
Well, we have it. Our mission, values, and goals is on every level of the police department. It's at the entrance when you come into the police department, and we also have it on our website. So if you go to our website, you go to the history of the police department. You can go to missions and goals, and it brings up this whole page right here. And you can print it and have it.
Okay. And it's besides safety, because that's the first thing that came up to me when I read this question, was what roles does the organization play in the community?
Well, obviously to protect and serve the community, but we also work with the community to help solve problems in their neighborhoods, because we can't just solve all the problems on our own. We have to have the community's help in order to do that.
Okay. And then the second one again is: how does it support the community? How do you guys support the community?
Well, we just started a community outreach unit back in May of 16, so it's been a year now in the process, where we have 2 officers that were dedicated. We have 6, now we have 8. We just included 2 more. By the end of it, we'll have 10. But the first group were 6 officers paired up, so 2, 2, and 2. And the city and the police department looked at 3 neighborhoods that were having some violence issues. And the 3 neighborhoods that were picked at the time were the Douglas Park Central neighborhood, Indian Hills, which is northeast off of PP, Mexico Gravel Road. Mm-hmm. And then the other neighborhood that was identified was Eddington, Bodie area, which is north of Smiley Lane, Derby Ridge area.
Familiar with all 3 of those places?
Mm-hmm.
Just, I guess, other questions. This next one says, you're telling me just questions for me in general. I guess I'll skip down to them and say, how does, if you're familiar with the school system, like when we talk about leadership, mm-hmm. how does it trickle down? It's kind of like the a school district, their superintendent.
Ours would be the chief of police. Mm-hmm. But above him, really the higher up above him, who's in charge is the city manager, is above the chief of police.
Okay.
In city government. And then we have a 2-tier system now, where we have 2 deputy chiefs. One deputy chief is responsible for patrol, and the other deputy chief is responsible for the administration side. And then each one of them has an assistant chief. So the patrol side would have an assistant chief, and also administration side has an assistant chief.
Okay. And then just going down, we're
right, it'd be lieutenants, then sergeants, and then the baseline is officers. Officers and detectives are on the same line, so lieutenants is the next, sergeants, officers / detectives. There's no promotion when you're a detective here. Sometimes it is in other departments.
In different cities, mm-hmm. Yeah.
But not in ours.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. So it's probably pretty similar, where you have a superintendent, and then you have principals, assistant principals,
and so
and
forth.
So
yeah. Teachers would be in
mm-hmm.
cahoots with officers.
Right.
How long have you been
with the Columbia Police Department? I've been an officer for 18 years, and then total I've been an officer for 20. 2 years with the Capitol Police Department in Jefferson City.
What are some of the kickbacks when you're trying to assist in the community? What are the kickbacks?
Kickback, what do you
like
mean?
Like the negatives when you're trying to assist?
I think some of the obstacles that officers or even detectives have had, I would say within the last 8 years, would be the idea that some community members feel like if they give police information, they're snitching on other people. And so we're not getting as much information when a crime occurs, even though that's how we stop crime, is by getting information. And so we're trying to get that information out to the public to say,
Right.
it takes all of us to work together. If you want crime to stop in your neighborhood, you have to give us some type of information to help you with getting that crime to stop. Or otherwise, that criminal is winning. They're bullying you to the point where you're allowing crime to continue in your neighborhood.
Good. And then another one. As far as you talked about different city manager, chief of police, deputy who does patrol,
Sure.
and then deputy chief who takes care of the administration. Where does human resources fall in this? Is that
Human
part of it?
resources is really through the umbrella of the city of Columbia. We don't have our own human resources per se. They take all of our applications, but they also take the fire departments. They take every city entities.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now we have a training and recruitment unit, and they go out to different events and different job fairs to try to recruit officers to the police department.
Right. Because as I looked on this brochure, we have pulled up one too.
Okay.
Talked about all the specialty areas that's included. So within all this, I guess at any given time, these people are a mixture of officers because
That's correct.
You got
would
your
start on the officer.
crisis negotiation team,
Yep.
community outreach, crash investigation. So wouldn't this also be, I guess, different entities in the police department?
They're really considered like specialties inside the police department. So officers can be patrol officers, but they can also have a specialty as a crisis intervention training. They can also have a specialty in SWAT. We don't have a full-time SWAT team here, so it's really made up of, the different officers in different levels in different areas. And it's a part-time team. They train 2 Mondays out of the month, and then they get basically, it's not a pager system anymore, but a cell phone call. We have an emergency, we need you to come in. And that's how we gather. Kansas City and St. Louis have a full-time team with that. They're
Right.
dedicated to SWAT, so it's different for us. Same with crisis negotiation. You can be a patrol officer, you can be a detective, but you can also have crisis negotiation training, so you can be called in on emergencies to negotiate with the suspect.
And how do you, let's try to form the question the right way. When we talk about building relationships with outside agencies, and what outside agencies do you guys?
Well, we'll work
Talk
with
to the
different
most.
city agencies. Columbia Fire Department, we work with them often. We also work with emergency medical, EMTs, pretty much on a daily basis. We all join in calls together. We also work with the Boone County Sheriff's Department. We work with the University of Missouri Police Department. We work with outside agencies when need be.
Well, I appreciate your time. I think you answered most of the questions to the best of your ability, and seems to answer all my questions.
Okay.
So I thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You want to take this with you, or?
Yes.